Hi, I think this is working. We're about to migrate over to the Insight Timer app. Hi, Fiona. Welcome, friends. Mhm. We'll get started shortly. Hi, Peter Brook. Grateful to be together. Hi, Bonnie. Hmm. Well, as a hi, Julia. Reminder. What is the reminder I was just about to say? Oh, yes. I do have the screen on wide view. So if you have the ability to turn your device, hi, Cindy. Hi, John. Long time no see. Hi, Ganila. Yeah, that is a heat wave. So yes, again, I have it on the widescreen view. So if you have the ability to turn your device so you can see the full background, that might be more enjoyable. And we'll get started now. For anyone that I'm getting to meet for the first time, my name is Selena, and I'm so grateful that you said yes, that you are here today, that we are here together. I just released my new self love course, Awaken My Heart, a guide to living with self love. So that is now live on the app. If you'd like to join us in that, I have many recordings available and lead lives each week. My live schedule is going to be changing some. You can always stay up to date with when my lives are by checking out my profile page. And Insight Timer functions partially from the generosity of the donations received. And of course, that greatly supports me in my life. So if you feel called to donate, I invite you to do so and know that you're supporting this beautiful platform and me. Hi, Angela. Hi, Davy. All right. Let's take a moment to settle a little and arrive. Can you hear me okay? If I'm speaking a little more quietly, can you hear me? I'm so happy you're here too, Davy. Sound okay? Okay, thank you, Peter Brook. Hi, Phil. Hi, Loretta. Okay, great, thank you. So I invite you to be still if that's possible. If you're multitasking, set everything aside for a moment. It's really quite amazing how just being still is sometimes the most powerful medicine we can give ourselves. We're always looking for different techniques and practices and drugs and plant medicines and all of these things to help us feel better and get through whatever we're going through. Yet, slowing down, becoming present, or meeting ourselves with presence is one of the greatest healers. So let's start to slow down our breathing. Bring your awareness to the top of your head and begin to consciously relax the body, the forehead, the scalp, the eyes, the cheeks, the lips, the jaw, the throat. Just continue to move down through your body, shoulders, arms, hands, everything, all the way until you get to the feet. And each part of your body that you rest your awareness on, just for a moment, you might even feel a sense of that area letting go, relaxing, softening with your loving attention. For many of us, we avoid slowing down and becoming still at all costs. We may not even realize it, but we avoid it because when we really slow down, we have to face ourselves, meaning that's what arises. We don't have to face ourselves. We could get on our phones and distract ourselves or call someone or start to move around again. But when we become still, we become aware of the mind, the emotions are here, physical discomfort is here. And it's not like it's always an unpleasant experience when we slow down. Sometimes we just soften into the bliss of being when we slow down. But many of us avoid it because it means being with all parts of ourselves, some of which can feel pretty difficult to face, to feel. So, if you can, I invite you to rub your hands together vigorously, create some heat between your hands. And if you can't move your hands, you can just visualize this next part of our experience together. And after you feel like you're creating some friction, some heat, you're really activating the energy between your healing hands. I invite you to place your palms anywhere on the body that feel like it's needing some love, some care, some relaxation. You might even imagine that there is this healing light coming from your hands, or this feeling of it's okay to be, it's okay to be. Breathe deeply. And then let's take a deep, full breath in together and exhale through the mouth. Let all the air out. Inhale deeply. Exhale, let it all go. Inhale. Exhale. And then, if you wish, just very slowly massage some circles over the center of your chest, your heart center. Feel your belly softening and relaxing. Soften the jaw, the face, the throat. Hmm. And when you're ready, open the eyes. Mm, thank you. So, one more thing just to support us moving into greater alignment. We'll do the centering technique. Some of you are familiar with this. This will be new for others. And when we move into this very simple yogic technique, ancient yogic technique, it's as if we are using our hands like the hands of a clock. And we want to create this sense of centeredness, like one line of alignment, center, grounded, balanced. I am here. So when we're reaching the arms apart, this hand, the bottom hand comes down, but the fingers point up. And the upper hand moves up with the fingers also all pointing up. And if you can, it's like we're bringing ourselves into this centered place. So rather than kind of being out here or just kind of being like this, see if you can really open, create like your hands are two hands of a clock going up to the 12 and the 6. So like 6 o'clock, right? And then you exhale. Now, of course, not all of our bodies can do that because of different things happening. It's okay. The technique is still effective. But if you can move your body in that way, you can think about, I'm creating myself to come into this place of center. And again, even if your body doesn't look like this, you're still creating that sense of centered. Hi, Liz. All right, so let's do the centering technique. And again, if you can't move your body, you can always visualize this. Let's take a deep breath in as we reach the right arm up, the left hand down by the navel, but the fingers point up. Exhale slowly to the heart. Inhale, left arm all the way up, right hand down by navel. Exhale. And then one more time. Inhale, right arm up, left hand down, fingers point up. Exhale to bring the hands all the way back to the heart. And then just pause here. Feel your thumbs resting against your sternum, your palms and fingers touching. Breathe deeply. Hmm. Thank you. So why don't we start with something you're grateful for today? Go ahead and share in the chat something or someone you are grateful for. Could be anything. So again, a warm welcome to everyone. These satsang it means gathering of truth. Oh, gathering of truth. So we come together in this space where we practice meditation, self-awareness, compassion. We also often bring up a topic that we explore together. Enjoy reading each other's gratitudes. I won't read them all, but you can see them. This is beautiful awareness of this life. Mm, lovely. And as a reminder, if you're not here with us on Insight Timer, come over to the Insight Timer app so that you can be part of this live discussion. Wonderful. I am grateful. Okay, now, okay, I love it. They're still coming in. Um, now share one thing in the chat. Actually, I'm gonna leave that for a little later. Leave that for a little later. Getting ahead of myself per usual. Yeah, look at all this gratitude. It can feel so nice just to even witness others' gratitude, and it can be a reminder for all that we have to be grateful for. Not because we should feel grateful, but because it's this genuine upliftment or expression from the heart. Thanks for sharing, everyone. So I was thinking today, I shared this briefly yesterday when we had our yoga asana session. I was thinking today that we could dive into the topic. And of course, this is a community space. So it's a space to ask questions, it's a space to share your wisdom, it's a space to be together. And as always, we hold space for each other or meet each other with kindness and compassion. And I invite, as always, you don't need to agree with anything I say. You don't need to believe what I believe. You're welcome to be here, even if our beliefs are polar opposite. I still wholly, wholeheartedly welcome you here. And I love to just take on this perspective that there's no right experience. So whatever you're experiencing is okay, even if it's unpleasant or painful. Is most of the suffering that we experience, I don't know about most, sometimes all of it, is the resistance to what is. This shouldn't be this way. I wish this was different. I don't like this. The resistance to what is the core of the suffering, the root of the suffering. And it doesn't mean that we should just accept everything in our lives that we don't like. We can still take actions and be a stand for what we believe in the world, in our lives. There's a difference between taking action and being a stand for what we believe in to better the planet and better ourselves, and resisting what is and judging it. You might even be able to feel it in your being as I just create that distinction verbally. Like one is taking actions toward what I want, and the other one is saying, no, right? It creates this contraction inside. Mm. All right. So I was thinking today for our satsang that we could explore how to navigate times that we feel really challenged. Some of you might experience this like getting the rug pulled out from under your feet, or just something really difficult coming up, or something that feels really painful. So I thought we could sit with that together today, because I think we can all relate to that. Yes. Of course, if at any time diving into this conversation, something gets triggered for you that feels uncomfortable, please do whatever you need to take care of yourself. There's no one way that we have an experience. So there's no one way to support ourselves when we are facing challenges, when we are going through a difficult period. Some of what we talk about today will feel resonant and some will not. And this is always a space for you to just take on what resonates and leave the rest. Especially because we have varying degrees of difficulties, yes? Some of the things that we're going through that are difficult may not be as impactful in our lives as other things. And I'd also like to just remind us that it doesn't do us any good to compare our struggles to someone else's and say, like, oh, they've got it so much worse. I have nothing to complain about. Or now, if you really genuinely feel like you can be free in that, I'm just going to let go because I've got it good. That's different than, oh, I shouldn't feel this way. I'm in so much pain, but I shouldn't feel this way because there are other people who feel so much worse than me. Oh, I'm such a bad person for feeling this. See the difference there? Yeah. So, it doesn't do us any good to compare whatever pain or challenge we're experiencing to another's and then think that there isn't room for us. Whatever we are going through when we have an experience of struggling, that is an experience that's happening. It's real for us. So there's no need to compare it to someone else's, especially because when we do that, we often end up repressing emotion. Oh, I shouldn't feel that way. We just stuff it all down and then it shows up sometime later. We get upset with someone. Our body develops some kind of illness, right? All these things can happen. So may we take on the group intention that there is space for each of us to go through our experience, and comparing it to someone else's experience and even shaming ourselves for feeling challenged does not do anybody any good. All right, so let's just take a breath together. So I've been personally getting to face a very big challenge that came, I would say it came out of the blue, except for my intuition was preparing me. about a week before I had the meeting where everything kind of turned upside down in my mind, my intuition was like, I think something's coming. I think you should be aware that something's coming. And I was like, oh no, positive thinking. Right. But I just kept having this sense like, okay, be aware there's something coming. And it wasn't like, be afraid. Right. It was, be aware, be aware. There's something that is coming that I can be mentally prepared for, that I can more emotionally prepare myself for. Can you see the difference there also? Rather than, oh no, something's coming. I have to be afraid and tense myself and it's going to be so bad. Taking on the perspective, this is an opportunity that I have to be more resilient when challenges occur because they will always occur in this life. So, and I just want to acknowledge that our internal growth and transformation and evolution, it does make a difference. Who here is aware that after maybe some time of meditating or being more mindful in your life or more self loving, who here is aware that your reactions have started to shift a little bit? Like maybe sometimes you're a little less reactive. Maybe sometimes you're a little more patient. Maybe sometimes you're able to shake things off a little easier. You can just drop an emoji in the chat. And Angela, love, I see your comment, and I'm so glad that you're here with us. You know, you can also share in the group, and you know that I'm here to support you also, love. Okay, great. Thank you for acknowledging that. A lot of it. I like that. So that's wonderful. So I noticed that within myself in this experience because what happened, um, without going too much into the details, the security that I had built for myself financially, which of course affects many areas like my living situation, my food, like being able to take care of myself, right? What I had built, uh, I won't say ended because it didn't completely end, but basically all of the stability that I had created, it just stopped completely, completely. Out of the blue, like day of, finding out what's going on. And many of us know that when it comes to finances, it can be really terrifying because we have so much of our sense of safety and being okay rooted in our financial stability. So I just want to kind of go through this journey a little bit together. And then we can play with this together. Maybe some of you wish to share a little bit about something going on with you, or maybe we'll work with one or two of you and kind of work through this together. So, when I first found out this information, I was definitely in a little bit of shock. Um, and a lot of emotions started to come up. I was feeling scared. I think I was feeling sad. And as I kind of let myself sink a little deeper into what was really going on for me, I recognized I also felt some shame. Um, and then I started to recognize I felt some anger. And it's really important to feel. Anyone who has been with me here, this is a primary key in the teachings is feeling is healing. I was on this beautiful call today with my beloved Saima. Saima is my teacher of 21 years. And Saima was offering a global address where anyone could join. Here's a beautiful picture of Ma when Ma was younger that I keep by my desk. And one thing that Ma was saying was, you can't heal something intellectually because the pain occurred emotionally. You can't heal something intellectually because the pain occurred emotionally. The wound was an emotional wound, it wasn't intellectual. So, feeling is truly healing. And of course, one of the biggest things that was coming up for me was just this intense fear of the unknown, grief. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I still don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I don't know. But I felt something deep inside of me, a knowingness that I'm going to be okay. A knowingness. Like I felt like my heart was being cradled in this moment that might have been very traumatic for many of us. And maybe it was a little traumatic for me. But the way that I was able to move through it was unlike any other time I've had this kind of a challenge in my life. Normally, like here we are, this happened 2 days ago. So normally, if this was like an old version of me, I would have canceled all my classes for the week. I would have canceled all my coaching clients. I would have not gone outside. I would have curled up on the couch. I would have just like cried and felt afraid. And my mind would have just been taking me on this scary thought to that scary thought about I don't have what I need. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I should do. I don't know where this is going. Am I going to have to just change my entire life? Oh my God, how am I even going to move? How am I going to handle all of these things? How am I going to, right? My mind could have gone everywhere. And I did let it go a little bit. That first day that it happened, I let myself be in my feels. I let my mind kind of go there a little bit. But then I started to get in action. And this is also very clearly a teaching from my beloved teacher. I got in action. Okay, I recognize that these thoughts are not serving me. As Wayne Dyer said, none of us know enough to be a pessimist. None of us know enough to be a pessimist. In this incredible world that we live in, the cosmos that we're inside of, there are infinite possibilities, and none of us know enough to be a pessimist. As surely as something could happen, worst case scenario, something could happen, best case scenario. So it's really about the training here. What am I feeding my mind? And am I going to let my untamed mind take me down a road of massive suffering? Or am I going to grab the reins of the wild horses of my mind and consciously direct my thoughts? Now, here's part of the difference. Many of us, to consciously direct our thoughts, we do something like, okay, I'm going through a challenging experience. I feel really unworthy. So I start saying, I'm worthy, I'm worthy, I'm worthy, I'm worthy. Meanwhile, all the pain is in my throat and it's in my heart, and I feel trapped and I feel just totally freaked out. But I'm saying, I am worthy, right? That for me means there's something inside I still need to tend to. If it's still feeling that acute, there's part of me inside that needs me to go in and sit with myself and hold myself and say, it's okay to grieve. It's okay that you don't know my love. It's okay. We're going to do this one step at a time together. Some part inside, or maybe there's some part that's so angry because it's afraid, right? But there's some part inside that's so angry. So I let myself just feel the anger. I squeeze my fist and I just go, right? Maybe I need to let that anger move somatically so it doesn't get trapped in my body. So I had let myself express that enough, and then I redirected my mind. And rather than feeling like I was repressing emotion and just trying to overlay positivity over a lot of pain, I really felt this ability to say, all right, I'm getting into action now. This is it. And then I would kind of fall back in and feel really vulnerable. Like I lead a meditation on the beach here. And one of my beloveds, Tevia, who some of you have met before in our lives, he led our group last night because I was like, I feel so vulnerable. I just need to be inward. So it's kind of a dance, right? It's not like, all right, I was in action and I'm a superhero. Like, yes, I was very vulnerable, and then I was in action, and then I felt like crying, and then I was in action. So it's this dance between our experience. So I'm sharing the kind of the details of my experience to give you a window into how you might navigate when something challenging arises. And to maybe also become aware of what are you allowing in your mind? Are you allowing your mind to take you on these never ending loops of fearful thoughts that go nowhere, that are caught in pessimism, thinking about worst case scenarios? That doesn't serve me in any way. Sometimes, okay, sometimes they can serve me by allowing me to just feel fully. But after I've felt, then it's just perpetuating my suffering, the experience of suffering. So, I'm going to scroll back because I saw a lot of comments come in. So I'm just going to come back and see if there's anything that is related to what I was just speaking to. And I see some of you are sharing that you can relate to the fear of shifts happening with finances. I see that Angela and Peter Brook. And Mara and see sharing, I turned to alcohol for the wrong reasons, which then led to shame and acceptance issues within myself and my family. Oh, thank you for sharing that. For anyone who's unfamiliar with Gabor Mate, I really wholeheartedly invite you to look up his body of work. He specializes in trauma and addiction and has the most compassionate approach to understanding that we see addiction as a disease, but addiction is actually a thing that seems like the coping mechanism to help us get through the trauma. It's just such a more holistic, compassionate way of understanding ourselves and understanding that there isn't something wrong with us. We're not bad people, but we're doing the best that we can based on what we've gone through in our lives, based on the lack of resources and tools and education that we've received to move through so much of the pain that many of us live with. So, again, I really highly recommend Gabor Mate's work to check that out. Thank you for sharing that, Miriam. Hi, Jason. Mm, Hi, Victoria. Hi, Monica. Okay, looks like a lot of hellos so far. Jay's asking a question. Oh, you can't heal something philosophically that happened emotionally, right? Um, well, philosophically, again, I'm not sure what you're saying there completely, Jay, but I think either way, we're bringing it back to the intellect. One way we could kind of look at this is many of us, when something painful occurs, we try to think our way out of it. This is what many of us, like the majority of us, do, myself included, still, even though it's much better than it used to be. Something painful occurs, or something occurs, and we have a painful response to it. Yes, see the difference there? Something occurs, we have a painful response to that experience. And then we start to say, oh no, well, what about this? And what about that? And how can I figure this out? And what does it mean? And what did they mean when they said that? And how do I get away from this? That's all intellect. That's all mind. To really move through that pain that we're feeling, it is in the body. So that is why I have the meditation here on the app called Self-Soothing Practice. And we definitely work with how to go into the feelings without rejecting the feelings, without rejecting ourselves for having human emotions. We recognize that all emotions are experienced. There are no good or bad emotions. They're all experience. They can all be our teachers. Feel free to let me know if that answered your question. Okay. Oh, thanks, Andrea. Uh, great. Great. Wonderful. Okay. So, again, just to kind of recap here, and mm, we're all at different periods in our awakening, in our evolution. So, for some of us, the way that we are with ourselves right now, with what we're learning, we're still at a place where something very challenging occurs in our lives, and we do feel rocked by it. We do what I would have done before. We need to take a week. We just feel like we can't navigate it, and that's okay. Be compassionate with yourself wherever you're at, right? I was there at one point and now I'm here. And it's not because I'm special or magical. I don't know. I think I'm kind of magical, but I think everyone's magical. So we're all magical. um, it's because I've trained my brain. I've trained my physiology. I have developed a deeply loving, compassionate relationship with myself. And I know some of us don't even realize that we don't have a kind relationship with ourselves, many of us. I remember even like a year ago or so, maybe 2 years ago, I was working with this beautiful somatic therapist. It was probably 2 or 3 years ago now. And she made some comment about how hard I was being on myself. And I just totally, I did not see it. At first, I couldn't even really see what she was talking about because there was such a block in my mind trying to protect me. I couldn't even see what she was talking about. And then, as I really started to step back and be curious, I started to recognize, oh, this way of being that I previously thought was just how one functions was actually being really unkind with myself. Oh, this way of speaking to myself, which I just thought of as a normal way of thinking, is actually really not compassionate or forgiving. So I started to see all of these little patterns. So if you do not feel totally free in your life, but you think you're really kind to yourself, I invite you to re examine this. And again, I just dropped this self love course, a beautiful way to explore this. You can find the self love course on my profile page. So, again, wherever you are in your journey with this kind of a process, be kind to you. We can't be anywhere other than where we are. And I'm here grateful to be able to share tools that my teachers have shared with me or that I've learned through personal experience. So, again, to kind of recap, and then we're going to move on here. The first step is to feel the feelings and just to let it all be there. Let yourself be a hot mess. Give yourself some room to grieve. Saima teaches it's really important in any grieving experience or process to set a time limit. And I know many of us have never even fathomed that, but to set a time limit for yourself. Otherwise, many of us will get caught in patterns of grieving for the rest of our lives. And it literally becomes a pattern in part because the neural pathways in the brain become so strong in that experience of grieving. So you might explore that if that resonates for you. So give yourself some time to crap. Crap. That made sense too. Give yourself some time to crack, to feel. Well, it was funny, Angela. I like noticed part of your comment where it said course dropped. And so I was trying to say crack, but the P from the word dropped came out of my mouth. Let yourself crap, let yourself do whatever you need to do. Yes. Really though, I really mean this. This is a really important part of our freedom as far as I'm concerned from what I experience and know. Don't have to agree with me. Let yourself feel. Give those parts of you inside that are grieving, that are scared, that are full of rage, give them permission to exist. Give yourself a space to feel, reach out to the people in your life who you feel you can trust. If you don't have someone you can talk to that's a friend or a family member, connect with a coach or a therapist or someone who you feel like you can connect with. Maybe it's your pet, right? So give yourself that space and then become aware of your mind. Once you've given yourself some time to crack open, to feel, to kind of go through your process a little bit. And remember, an emotion only lasts in the brain for 90 seconds, 1.5 minutes. So, although the body is still releasing trauma and emotion, it is often our mind that perpetuates the experience. So, let yourself feel everything you need to feel and then become aware of your mind. It's like our mind is wild horses, you know, or monkeys. but they're wild. They're just kind of all over the place. The mind is all over the place. It's dragging us to this scary thought and dragging us to this painful thought because it's habitual at this point and it's also part of our survival brain. Being aware of threats is how we have stayed alive for so long, but it's not needed the same way anymore. So become aware of your mind. Oh, my mind is pulling me toward this really scary thought. Oh, my mind is showing me a worst case scenario again. Oh, my mind is blaming everyone and everything because it feels helpless. Become aware of where your mind is taking you. And then this is what I got. I was like, literally, it was moments after I had been feeling like a deep sense of grief. I had forgotten how intense grief is. I forgot how crippling grief feels. I forgot how helpless and all consuming grief feels. I forgot how um, how it feels like it's not going to end, but it always does. And I had just kind of like been in this place where I recognized, oh wow, what I'm feeling is grief. And then I got this powerful reminder and teaching that yes, it's okay if this is your choice to get lost in the suffering, that's your choice. However, you have a different possibility. And I was just kind of like sitting with that for a moment. And then I got the very clear teaching that yes, something intense happens, shift it. Yes, something feels like it's devastating, find your way through it. Yes, something feels hopeless, find the hope. Yes, I don't know what to do. Take one small action in the direction of what I want rather than getting lost in all the thoughts about what I don't want. And then do the dance of it all. So I just spoke for a very long time. And I'd like to just take a few moments here. Yes, Marin's asking, what do you mean by shift? Perspective. I don't remember exactly how I used it a moment ago in the sentence, but we could say um, perspective and also my whole internal paradigm. So imagine it like this. Imagine I am on the floor, I'm crying, I'm going through these experiences of helplessness, and my mind is fully identifying with my situation as hopeless in that moment. My mind is living in the oh, something just flew across the floor. I was like, what is that big thing? Wasn't a bug. My mind was completely identified with the story that things were hopeless. It's kind of like a movie. You walk into one movie theater and it's a tragedy, right? It's this really depressing love story and like you're just crying in the like before the movie even starts. It's just a depressing movie, right? My mind was consumed by a certain way of thinking and that dictated how I felt in my body. The shift is as if I got up out of that movie theater where the movie was a tragedy and I was totally crying and depressed, and I consciously chose to walk out and walk into a different movie theater, which was a comedy. And when I walked into that new movie theater, my mind was consumed by a new story about how funny life is. Is that clear, my friends? Are you kind of seeing the picture that I'm painting here? We think life is happening to us. We think that a situation is the way that we experience it, but it is the way that our minds are interpreting it. It is the way that our minds are interpreting it. And this is the last thing I'm going to say on this for now. Great question, Marin. Thank you. The last thing I'm going to say on this is exactly what I did. What occurred for me could have been thought as like one of the most terrible things that could happen to a person. What occurred, not to me, but in my life, could have been thought of as one of the most horrible things, right? We have finances, health, death, a few things. It's like the worst on the spectrum of finances. But I chose to walk into a different movie theater. I chose with all of my intention and determination and love for myself. And I said, life is happening for me, not to me. This is a doorway for me to do something that I am even more passionate about in my life. This is a doorway for me to actually go for things that I've been procrastinating about or that I've been too afraid to do or felt like I don't know how to do it, so I'm just not going to do it. Instead of seeing it as the door closed and my life was going to end, I saw that there were all of these other doors opening. And I know these are kind of cliched things to say, but this is literally what, not literally, figuratively, but exactly what I did. Rather than getting stuck in the thought process that shit was upside down and it was over for me, I chose to see it as an opportunity. I chose to see it as an invitation for me to create more of what I actually want in my life. I saw it as something that is propelling me in the direction of my dreams. And I saw that even though that thing that I had set up before was great and I loved it, and there was, for the most part, nothing that seemed wrong with it. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for my soul. It wasn't enough for what I truly desired to create in this world. So that door closing was an invitation to say yes to myself in a way that I might have been too scared to say yes before. You feel me? Life is happening for me, not to me, is that paradigm shift, is walking out of the theater with a depressing movie into the theater where it's the most passionate, beautiful, fulfilling story of life ever. So great. I'm glad, Maren. Yes, ET. This is it. This is the real work, right? The real work. This is it. You are so powerful. I'm no different than you. I'm no more special than you. You are so powerful. Your mind is so beautiful and powerful. Your emotions are a powerful creative force in life, not just happy, lucky ones, but all of them, the darkest, the shadows, everything within you is so powerful. So, what are you feeding? What are you giving your life force to? How are you choosing to direct your beautiful mind? Are you being compassionate with yourself, caring with yourself, giving yourself permission to be a messy human being, to make mistakes? What movie theater are you spending your time in? And it's your choice. There's no wrong way. It's not like, oh no, I've been in the tragedy movie theater or I've been in the horror movie theater for so long, I'm a bad person. It's all good. Maybe tomorrow you feel like adventuring out and trying the comedy theater. And maybe you're like, I can't do it yet. So you go back to the other one. It's okay. Play, explore. This is your beautiful life. You're so magnificent. You're so magnificent. You're so powerful. And I mean it with every fiber of my being as a truth. I'm not here to hype you up and motivate you. It's the truth. Me too, Tom. Yeah, ET. All right. Mm, yes. So, really, last few moments, if rather than going through a whole process together for time, I'd like to ask, are you feeling stuck somewhere after hearing all of this, after kind of seeing different possibilities for yourself? Is there some place you're feeling stuck? And we'll probably only have time to get to one answer in that realm. But is there a place that you're feeling a sense of being stuck? Where even though I just shared all of this, you're still like, yeah, I just don't see how this can work for me. Oh, hi, Jason. Well, DM me and I just might be able to give you a replay. Um, yeah. And feel free, friends. I often post things about replays in our group. Join our group if you're not already there. Love heals all. Love heals all. Okay. So Marin's was the first, and it says, I feel stuck in the sense of caring too much of people's perception of me. Okay. Okay. That's what do I want to say here? I think what I was asking is a question. We all have areas in our lives that we feel stuck, but I was asking specifically regarding this experience of where something challenging comes up and you feel stuck about how to know how to move yourself through it. So that was really the more of the question that I was going through. So again, the question is, in this process of navigating a challenge like this, is there a place that you don't see a path or a way for you? And again, friends, like these kinds of questions that we won't have time to answer today, share them in our group. The other day, our beautiful Raul shared a great question in our group, Love Heals All. And Peter Brook had a beautiful answer. So it's not just a place to like share content and be happy together. It's a place to reach out for support and share wisdom and receive wisdom. So I really invite you to bring your questions and your shares there. And Marin, I would invite, I have a couple of recordings here on the app because that's a much longer topic. Otherwise, I would have happily just dove in and shared on it today. I have at least one recording called something like Transforming Criticism with Compassion. And I would invite you to look that up. And actually, another one too. And Angela, my love, this is also for you. It's for anybody, but also for Marin and Angela. Um, and Angela, you might have even listened to this one already, but I recommend listening to it again. You are the love you seek. So the two that I'm recommending to listen to: Transforming Criticism with Compassion, and You Are the Love You Seek. Both of these are recorded talks here on the app. Thank you for sharing those. Okay, so I'm coming back through the comments. Oh, thank you, Ganila. Thank you, everyone who is donating it. Right? You really get that we might think that our $2 or $10 or however much you decide to donate doesn't go very far, but it does. It is supporting the teachers, and I'm very, very grateful for your support. And if you don't have finances to share, I'm just grateful to be together. So thank you. Okay. Um, My love, Angela, I see your comment, and again, I would say that's a much deeper topic. I know you shared that before I made the clarification, but feel free to share that in the chat. I mean, the our group. Yeah, let's come together and support each other with that. And I think that the talk will also be helpful. That's my intention, that it will hold your beautiful heart in a certain way. Okay, I'm coming back here. Um, Thank you all so much for sharing. I didn't clarify at first. Yes. Um, One thing I'd like to clarify first, though, ET, you said something. Oh yeah, I just created a self-love course. It's super accessible. It's for people who are brand new to self-love and who are seasoned in self-love, and it's right here on the app. So I recommend that for anyone who's struggling with being kind to yourself, with being compassionate with yourself, with knowing how to just give yourself a chance to slow down or rest or feel unworthy, any of that. I really invite you to dive into this self-love course. You can take it at your pace. You can listen to one lesson again and again before you move on to the next, however you wish. Okay. So I'm almost to the first comment that was in response to my clarified question. Um, I don't see maybe another one. Oh, Tom. Oh, my love to you. Yeah. We got to be tender with ourselves. We do go through so much. I know I gave this great, example today of how we can really turn something awful into something beautiful. But sometimes we're just not ready to dive right into that. I know I said it earlier, but it's so important to be kind with ourselves in our process. Take your time. Take your time wherever you are in your process. Oh, beautiful, Marin. That's beautiful, Ruth. I feel I was born to sing. I saw the first part also. Well, um, I really appreciate all of the things that you shared where you're feeling stuck. I think they're all longer topics, though, and we just have a few minutes left. That's my hesitation here. Uh, so, what might I be able to share for those of us who are feeling stuck, but with all these different experiences in our lives? Mhm. I think I'd like to share a couple of things. One, and I'm not saying this because I'm trying to promote my course. Do this course. Do the self-love course. In my experience, really learning to love myself has given me access to peace. So much of my life, I lived with a few like kind of ongoing fixations, looking for the one, always feeling like if I was just living my purpose, I'd be happy and fulfilled, and thinking that my life was supposed to look a certain way, like career wise or something like that. And I really lived with these beliefs or these focuses. And I just really unhappy, depressed a lot, felt alone, always felt like I was striving. It it definitely perpetuated my feelings of not being good enough or not being worthy, always feeling like I wasn't in the right place, like something had to change so I could be happy. I mean, really, if you take all those things I just said and you bring them down to the root of it, it's a feeling that something needed to change for me to feel happy in my life, whether it was my career or needing to be in a relationship or needing to live my purpose or my passion. I was living with these thoughts that supported the feeling I couldn't be content right where I was. And as I started holding my heart every day and saying, I love you, as I started to speak to myself with more kindness, as I started to take more actions that expressed honoring myself and being true to myself and listening to my well being, as I started to live with more of these ways of self love, peace just started to sink in more and more and more. And it's not like all of a sudden my life became perfect. Obviously, right? I just shared everything I'm navigating right now, right? So it's not that my life became problem free. It's that there was this peace that started to be uncovered within me, where I was able to rest in the unknown, where I was able to be grateful for what was in front of me, even if it's not what my mind thought it should be. So I see that in many of the things that you shared, my friends, about things that you're stuck about. Not for everyone, but for many of us. And although what I just shared might not be a direct answer for everyone who shared about something being someplace feeling stuck, it is absolutely the answer. One of the answers for each of us if we're feeling stuck, whether it's in a toxic relationship, whether it's feeling like we should be a singer out in the world, whether it's about not trusting our mind. If we, when we truly live a life of greater self love, we cultivate an inner peacefulness, an inner fullness, and an inner trust where we have no other choice but to take care of ourselves, to honor ourselves, because it feels so uncomfortable to do anything other than that. And it's not easy, it's not an overnight thing. I've been in abusive relationships before. I've, uh, I've felt totally lost on and off throughout my whole life. Like it's not like it's just gonna happen like that. But I promise you, my beloveds, as you choose little by little, step by step, thought by thought, feeling by feeling, action by action, to be more loving, to be more accepting, to be more caring, compassionate, and kind with yourself. It will move you into a state in your inner being where so many of the things that you feel stuck around, you will not feel stuck around anymore. Is that clear? Can you feel what I'm saying there? Especially those of you who are expressing things in the chat about feeling stuck. Okay, great. Good. 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 So whether you choose to take my self-love course or someone else's self-love course or explore self-love in a completely different way, that's why I created this course. I created it because it's been a balm for my soul and a path to actual freedom for me. I don't feel free all the time, but the amount of peace and expansion and freedom that I feel in my being is absolutely because of this relationship of self love that I've cultivated. Beautiful. So, thank you. Thank you. I apologize for not creating more space for us to have more of a workshop experience today, working through a specific experience. But I trust that what was shared was heard by those who need to hear it. Okay, great, Angela. And listen to that track. You are the love you seek. I know you've been navigating a whole lot for these last, what, couple years. Time to turn home, come home to you, my love. I'm so glad, Liz. All right. Well, many blessings, all my love. If you, wait, one more thing before we go. One more thing. Practical tool. Many of you have heard me share this before. Some of you already do it. I won't go into the whole explanation. Something that has absolutely transformed my life, and it's a very practical thing you can do, is I have a journal, and when I've done this in the past, I would do it every single day. And I'm doing it every single day again right now, which is very sweet. And I write in the journal at least 3 things that I'm grateful for. So, like, at the top of the page, just imagine this is that journal. Top of the page, I write at least 3 things I'm grateful for. I'll say, like, "I am so grateful for," and then I write down 3 things. For a long time, I actually would write down 10 things. And, like, things that I genuinely feel grateful for, not because I should feel. And then if I filled up the page, I would start a new page, or maybe I only use half, so I'd make a little squiggly line and start the second half of the page. Here's where it gets fun and juicy. On the second half of the page, I would say, "I'm so grateful for," or "I'm so grateful for manifesting." And I would write down all of the things that I wish and want to create in my life as if they were already true and already happening. And this totally, whether you want to call it cosmic, angelic, spirit guide support, or the neuroscience of retraining the brain, I can't tell you how many things that I spent writing down over the years have come to fruition. So, for example, let's say that I wanted to live in Hawaii. I would write, and I was not living in Hawaii. I was living someplace with a lot of winter. I'm so grateful for my beautiful home in Hawaii, right? You write it as if it's already happening. Let's say that you really want more creative opportunities work wise. I'm so grateful that amazing creative opportunities always come my way for work. Write it as if it's already happening. And write like 10 things out. Let this feel good. Start to train your mind to focus on what you want rather than what you don't want. Start to train your mind to focus consciously rather than just being pulled around by those horses or those monkeys. Be the director of your journey, of your own power, because your mind is maha powerful, super powerful. Beautiful. And feel free to get specific. That's part of it too. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that today. I will see you tomorrow if you choose to join for our sun salutation practice. You can join for 5 minutes. You can join for the whole 30 if you wish. The whole time we're just doing Surya Namaskar A, just sun salutations. You can join however long you wish. And then on Friday, we'll be together again for our full Vinyasa Asana session. And we'll be together next week. And then things are going to start changing the second week in December. So stay tuned for all of that. And join our group, Love Heals All, if you're not already, to stay up to date with things. Yes. All right. Thank you so much for your donations. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your presence. What a gift it is to be together, beyond a gift. We are so blessed. I'm so grateful to you. We are one. We are one, having many experiences, forgetting how we are all one light. We are source, consciousness, love, playing in this human experience. Thank you. I love you with all that I am. There's a website listed on my profile page. If you want, go there so we can stay more connected. I'll see you soon. So grateful.